Let me go ahead and let you into something that nobody really wants to admit. A lot of what actually makes a woman sexy isn't cute. It's not the hair, it's not the outfit, it's not the perfume. It's the stuff you do when nobody is watching. That is honestly a little unsexy, a little uncomfortable, and very real. And if we're being honest, a lot of us are trying to look put together, but skipping the things that actually keep you together. Be honest. Are you a looks good on the outside girl or disciplined behind the scenes woman? Just go ahead and type, I needed this, especially if you're already feeling a little bit attacked. Now listen, I'm a licensed psychologist, a full professor, and I'm also a grown woman. And one thing I've learned and shared with y'all is that attraction is not just aesthetic. It is behavioral, it is biological, and it is maintenance. And this ain't no pick-me list. We don't do that. This is not about performing for anybody. This is about standards, because real sexy is what you maintain, not what you show. So let's get on into it.
Dr. Nina, the girl next door, beautiful brown baby doll.
Habit 1, the unsexy hygiene truths. The stuff nobody posts but everybody notices. Let's go ahead and get uncomfortable real quick. This is where a lot of people try to skip steps and get confused about the results. Here's the truth. If you do not understand how your body actually works, you will spend your whole life trying to cover things up instead of fixing them. And let me make this very plain. Odor is not random. Breakouts are not random. That something is off feeling is not random. There's almost always a biological reason behind it. For example, a lot of people think that sweat is what makes you smell. It's not. Sweat by itself doesn't really have an odor. It's the bacteria on your skin breaking that sweat down. That's what creates the smell. So what do people do? They pile on perfume. They pile on scented products. They try to mask it. And now you got fragrance on top of bacteria. Ugh, that's not hygiene, that's confusion. And let's go a step further. You can brush your teeth, floss, use mouthwash, and do all the right things and still have bad breath. Nobody wants you to use H's. Why? Because bacteria doesn't just sit on your teeth. It sits on your tongue, that textured surface in your mouth that holds buildup food and dead cells. So if you're not addressing that, you're fresh with a blind spot. And here's the part that people don't like to hear. A lot of products marketed to us as women, especially the heavily scented ones, they can actually throw off your natural balance. And let's not even talk about how they mark up the price. Y'all know I'm about keeping them coins. Your body operates on very specific conditions. Things like pH, moisture, and bacteria levels. And when you disrupt that, that's when you start seeing things like irritation, odor, breakouts. Something just ain't right. So habit number 1, it's not glamorous, but it will change everything. You stop trying to smell good and you start to make sure that nothing smells off in the first place. You stop covering and you start correcting. You stop guessing and you start understanding your body. Because a grown woman knows this. You cannot out-perfume poor hygiene. You cannot out-style poor maintenance. And the women who really have it together, they're handling the unsexy before anybody ever notices. Habit 2, you fix what's off immediately. No denial, no delay, no pretending. Now here's where a lot of people lose me, because you know something is off. You know. Your body will tell you, your skin will tell you, and your energy will tell you. But instead of fixing it, you ignore it. You delay it. You hope it just works itself out. But let me say this clearly. Ignoring something doesn't make you low maintenance. It makes you the only one pretending not to notice. Grown women have a different habit. The moment something feels off, we address it. Not when it gets worse, not when it becomes obvious, not when it starts affecting our confidence immediately. So the science layer, because most of the things we're talking about, they don't just appear out of nowhere. They build little imbalances. Whether it's bacteria, pH, or inflammation, they start small. And when you leave them alone, they escalate. That my skin is acting weird phase, that doesn't fix itself with denial. That something feels off down there, that's not the time to be guessing and Googling for 3 weeks. Yes, you, Marsha. That constant fatigue, irritability, and snapping at people, that's not just I'm busy. Look, that's a signal. And this is something I had to learn early. I take care of me like I expect things to work. Doctor's appointments on time. Body changes addressed. Mental shifts. I check in with myself because I don't wait until something's a problem to decide it's worth fixing. And this is the difference. Maintenance mindset says I catch it early. Avoidance mindset says I'll deal with it later. And later is always louder, more expensive, and more stressful. Some of y'all are not low maintenance. You are delayed maintenance. And it shows up eventually. So when we talk about being put together, it's not perfection. It's responsiveness. It's awareness. It's the willingness to say something's off. Let me handle that. And let me tell you the one place people ignore things the most. Your mind. And if that's off, everything else we just talked about is going to follow. So you will notice that your skin is acting up. You will notice that something smells off. But when your mind is overwhelmed, irritated, burnt out, you'll call that just life. No, ma'am, that is not just life. That's a signal. If you're snapping at people, if everything is irritating you, if you're tired but your brain won't shut off, that's not a personality trait. That's your nervous system saying, girl, we are not okay. And as a psychologist, I'm telling you, you can do everything right on the outside. Look good, smell good, show up polished. But if your mind is not supported, it will show up anyway. In your tone, in your patience, in your energy. And I'll be real. I used to think I was super high functioning, getting things done, showing up. I thought that I was fine. I wasn't always fine. I was functioning. And there's a difference. You ever been productive, but also one inconvenience away from snapping? And I'm talking snapping. Oxygen levels snapping. You know, if you used to watch that show Snapped. Yeah, that's not peace. That's pressure. When your mind is overwhelmed, stress hormones increase. Sleep gets off. Your body starts reacting. So now you're trying to fix things on the outside, but the root is internal. And this is exactly why therapy became a non-negotiable for me. Not because something was wrong, but because I realized I didn't have to wait until I was overwhelmed to take care of myself. And thank you to Grow Therapy for sponsoring today's video. And what I love is how simple and flexible it makes the process. You can find a therapist that actually fits your needs, whether you're dealing with stress, anxiety, relationships, burnout, or just trying to better understand yourself. And they make therapy feel a lot more accessible than people think. Grow Therapy works with over 125 insurance plans, including Medicaid in some states. Sessions average about $21 with insurance, and depending on your plan, some people pay as low as $0. And you can choose from over 25,000 licensed and vetted providers, so you don't feel like you have to force a connection with the first person that you see. And I love this part. You only pay per session. No subscriptions, no commitments. So it doesn't feel overwhelming or locked in. And honestly, therapy has helped me to slow my thoughts down, stop normalizing stress that was not normal, become more self-aware, and learn how to regulate instead of just reacting to everything around me. Because let me tell you something, there's nothing more attractive than a woman who's emotionally aware and emotionally supported. If you've been thinking about getting started with therapy, this might be a sign. Go to growtherapy.co/Dr. Nina and find a therapist that works for you, even if it starts with one conversation. Because let me tell you something, you can't build a put together life on top of an unsupported and fragmented mind. And once your mind is in a better place, now we can talk about the habits that actually keep all of this running. Because the next one is simple, it's boring. And most people don't stick with it. Habit 4, the boring consistency habit. The thing nobody claps for, but everybody benefits from. Because if you know all the right things, you can even start all the right things. But if you're not consistent, none of it sticks. Let me say this in a way that might sting a little. You don't have a knowledge problem, you have a consistency problem. A lot of women are not missing information. You know what to do. You know to drink water. You know to take care of your hygiene. You know to rest, and you know to follow through. But it's the doing it over and over even when you don't feel like it. That's the part that changes everything. Some of y'all are out here doing special occasion discipline. You got a routine for vacations. You got a routine for birthdays. You got a routine for when you feel motivated. But on a regular Tuesday, baby, we freestyling. And here's the truth. Your body and your life, they respond to patterns. Not one good day, not one good week, patterns. Consistency reduces stress on your system because your body then knows what to expect. Your body improves, your energy stabilizes. Your results, they compound. And I had to learn this for real. It wasn't the perfect days that changed my life. It was the regular ones. The days I didn't feel like it, which was a lot of them. But I still showed up for myself anyway. Because consistency isn't about being perfect. It's about being reliable with yourself. You don't get results from what you do sometimes. You get results from what you do repeatedly. And this is where people get frustrated. And they'll say things like, I've tried everything. No, you tried everything briefly. So all the things we've talked about, hygiene, body awareness, mental health, they only work if you keep doing them. Not when it's convenient and not when it's cute. Regularly. Because the women who truly have it together, they're not doing extreme things. They're doing simple things consistently. And once you have consistency, now we have to talk about the thing that protects it. Because you can build all the good habits in the world, but if you don't protect your energy, you will lose it or lose them just as fast. Habit 5, you protect your energy and your standards because everything doesn't get access to you anymore. Now, once you build that consistency, we want to talk about the things that will maintain it and not destroy it. And that's that energy. Because let me tell you, you're not tired because you're doing too much. You're tired because too much has access to you. Let that sit. And I know that doesn't feel good, but it's real. You can have all the routines and all the systems. You can even have the discipline. But if you're constantly overextending, overcommitting, overexplaining, and overgiving, you're going to burn yourself out. Some of y'all don't have a time management problem. You have a why did I say yes to that problem? And here's what's happening. When you're constantly overwhelmed, overstimulated, and overstressed, your body stays in a heightened state. That impacts your mood, your sleep, your hormones, and your patience. So now everything we talked about earlier, it starts slipping. And this was a big one for me. Learning that protecting my peace wasn't selfish. It was necessary because I cannot show up as my best self if I'm drained all the dang on time. Boundaries are not about pushing people away. They're about protecting what you built. Everybody cannot have the same access to you that they used to have. And let's be honest, some of your stress is coming from the things you've agreed to, not the things that were required. Some of y'all are just too available and then confused when you have no energy for yourself. Still trying to lift the same dumbbell from 2005. So here's what protecting your energy looks like. Going to bed instead of answering that text. Saying no without a 10-minute explanation. Not picking up every emotional load that's handed to you. Keeping your routines even when people interrupt them. Because the women who really have it together, they're not just disciplined, they're protected. And once you start doing that, everything shifts. Because now you're not just trying to look put together. You actually are. So y'all, let me leave you with this. None of what we talked about today was glamorous. None of it was Instagram cute. But this is what actually keeps you put together. Sexy is not what you turn on, it's what you maintain. So tell me, which one are you not doing right now? Or just say, I'm getting it together if you're stepping into your grown woman era. Make sure that you comment, share this video with someone who can use it, and subscribe. I'm so happy to have y'all here with me. Thank you so much. Dr. Nina signing off. Peace.